Hello and welcome to Outside Views, the channel where we analyze the tangible consequences of political decisions and their impact on everyday life. Today we're talking about an issue that has left countless British holidaymakers angry, frustrated and out of pocket: the often overlooked Brexit passport rule. This obscure regulation has disrupted plans, cost people thousands of pounds, and served as a stark reminder of how Brexit has changed even the simplest activities like going on holidays. We talked about this before, but it just happened again. But this is about more than just ruined trips. It's a story that highlights the complex, far-reaching consequences of Britain's decision to leave the European Union and the challenges of navigating the post-Brexit landscape. To fully understand this issue, we need to unpack several layers. What exactly is this Brexit passport rule and why is it catching so many people off guard? What does it reveal about the realities of Brexit? And what can be done to ensure travelers are better informed and protected in the future? To answer these questions, we'll delve into the details of the rule, its origins in Brexit, and the broader context of Britain's changing relationship with Europe. Let's start with the passport rule itself. The rule in question applies to travelers entering the European Union from third countries, which is the category the UK now falls into post-Brexit. It consists of two main requirements. First, a passport must have at least 6 months of validity remaining from the intended date of departure. Second, and more controversially, the passport must not be older than 10 years from its date of issue, regardless of its stated expiration date. This 10-year rule is particularly problematic because it isn't intuitive. Many British passports issued before Brexit had validity periods exceeding 10 years due to the practice of adding unused time from previous passports during renewals. For example, if someone renewed their passport early and had 6 months remaining on their old passport, that time could be added to the new one, extending its validity to 10 years and 6 months. While this was perfectly acceptable under EU membership, it now creates a discrepancy for non-EU travelers as the EU calculates validity strictly from the date of issue. And this brings us to the case of Alan and Vivian Wilson, which has become a cautionary tale for travelers once again. Alan and his wife had planned a £3,000 dream cruise to celebrate her birthday. But when they arrived at the terminal, they were denied boarding because Vivian's passport, though valid until May 2025, was issued more than 10 years ago. Their trip was ruined, their money was lost, and their experience highlights the human cost of an obscure rule that most travelers aren't even aware of. And to understand why this rule exists and why it's causing so much confusion, we need to revisit Brexit itself. Before Brexit, British citizens enjoyed the benefit of EU membership, including the freedom to travel, live and work across member states without needing visas or worrying about entry requirements. Passports were valid as long as they hadn't expired, and the concept of a 10-year limit simply didn't apply. However, when the UK left the EU, it also left the system of free movement. And this meant British citizens became subject to the same rules as travellers from other non-EU countries. The EU's rules for third country nationals are designed to ensure consistency and security at its external borders. They include the 6-month validity requirement, which is common for many countries worldwide, and the 10-year rule, which prevents outdated passports from being used for entry. While these rules are standard for third countries, they represent a significant change for British travellers, who were used to much simpler requirements under EU membership. One of the biggest problems with this transition is the lack of awareness and communication. When Brexit was being debated and negotiated, much of the focus was on high-profile issues like trade, fishing rights and immigration. The practical implications for travel, such as the 10-year rule, received far less attention. Even now, years after Brexit, many travellers remain unaware of the new requirements. And this lack of awareness has been compounded by inadequate communication from travel companies, airlines and cruise operators. Take Alan and Vivian's case. P&O Cruises, like many travel providers, collects passport information during the booking process already. And this information could easily be used to flag potential issues and warn customers in advance. However, P&O insists that it is the traveler's responsibility to ensure their documents comply with the rules. While this may be true legally, it overlooks the practical reality that most people don't read the fine print in terms and conditions. For the Wilsons, this lack of proactive communication turned what should have been a joyous occasion into a financial and emotional disaster. And this isn't an isolated incident. Similar stories have emerged across the UK, with travellers missing flights, cruises and other holidays due to passport issues they didn't know existed. Families have lost thousands of pounds, honeymoons have been cancelled, and once-in-a-lifetime trips have been ruined, all because of a rule that wasn't properly communicated. The 10-year rule also highlights the broader challenges of adapting to Britain's new status as a third country. For decades, the UK was part of an integrated European system that prioritized simplicity and ease of movement. Now it must navigate a more fragmented and complex landscape where each EU member state can impose its own requirements on British travellers. But let's take a step back and consider the broader implications of this issue. At its core, the 10-year passport rule is a symptom of the deeper changes Brexit has brought to Britain's relationship with Europe. It's not just about holidays, it's about the loss of privileges that came with EU membership. For many Britons, Brexit was framed as an opportunity to regain control and reduce bureaucracy. In practice, it has introduced new challenges and complexities, from passport rules to visa requirements. And the impact of these changes extends beyond individual travellers. The travel and tourism industry, which relies heavily on seamless cross-border movement, has faced increased bureaucracy and costs. British citizens, once free to explore Europe with minimal hassle, now face more barriers to travel. And these barriers are particularly significant given how much Britons value travel. Europe has long been the most popular destination for British holidaymakers, with millions travelling to Spain, France, Italy and other EU countries every year. The added bureaucracy, from passport rules to new visa requirements, has made these trips more complicated and in some cases more expensive. So what can be done to address this issue? First, of course, there needs to be better communication. Travel companies should take a more proactive role in informing customers about post-Brexit rules. This could include automated alerts during the booking process, clear reminders and confirmation emails, and proactive outreach to travellers whose documents may be invalid. Second, public awareness campaigns could help ensure that travellers understand the new requirements. These campaigns could be led by the government in partnership with industry groups, highlighting the changes introduced by Brexit and how to navigate them. Finally, there may be opportunities to simplify the process through bilateral agreements or adjustments to implementation. While the EU's rules are unlikely to change, there could be room for dialogue to make compliance easier for British travellers. Ultimately, this issue is a reflection of the broader challenges of Brexit. It highlights the gap between political promises and real-world consequences and serves as a reminder of the complexity of disentangling decades of integration. For travellers like Alan and Vivian Wilson, the 10-year passport rule is more than just an inconvenience. It's a symbol of how Brexit has reshaped their lives in unexpected and often frustrating ways. So thank you for watching Outside Views again, and if you had a similar experience with these for the British new travel rules or have thoughts on how to improve the situation, let me know in the comments below the video. And as always, if you found this discussion insightful, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Let's continue to explore and question the decisions shaping our world. Take care, and the next video is right here in the end screen.